God
No,
bless
but
that man.
yo, brother, let me tell you something. Let me tell you how crazy and dope this place is, bro. It's insane to go to Carthage. And the history that you will find in Carthage, brother, is insane also. Straight up. It's insane.
So I'm seriously considering putting together a little show. I don't know if I want to call it a show,
I would like to
but something of
but I don't know how they are, but they were blocking.
Periodical type thing.
This is where you should have the show.
Slapping Sabir. Right?
This is where you should shoot the show from. Tunisia.
What?
Dude is a weenie.
From,
like for real.
What is it, Cebu? Said.
I've been.
Oh no, I got a. Oh bro, I think I'm filming down there. Oh, I got a lot of footage that y'all don't even see yet. I got a lot of like real rap.
I've been looking at this dude's videos for a while now. A lot of people, watch his videos, and unfortunately, that causes for him to feel like he's some sort of celebrity, like some kind of YouTube celebrity. And here's the thing, like, so he talks real crazy to a lot of people who I know for sure have put in major work. Whether that's politically, whether that's in the streets, whether that's, doing things to help people of color. Like this dude in his dreadlocks, he always talk about he's beautiful because of his dreads and shit like that. Dude is weird. The other day I saw somebody bringing up, asking how old he was. He did not want to answer that question. Oh, that's irrelevant, homie. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. No, it ain't. Because he's quick to call out other people's age. Like, he's like, oh, well, by the age you are, you should be doing this. And you should be knowing that. Right? Sabir's like pushing 60 years old. He don't want people to know that shit. But he's in his 50s. Right? He's definitely, that's why he's on that KRS-One shit so tough. I got gray in my motherfucking goatee, and I'm gonna tell you right now, KRS-One is not my generation. BDP, Boogie Down Productions, that shit is not my generation. Right? I was a little kid, like a child when that shit was popping, I suppose. And then, since when does anyone in 2023 think KRS-One is popping? I got an article somewhere around here where KRS-One himself, right, knowledge reigns supreme, himself says that he ain't getting no play stateside. Like, he's got to go to Switzerland and shit. He's got to go to Norway to get play because they have a real appreciation for real hip-hop overseas, right? And they don't have that appreciation over here, which is bullshit. They just ain't feeling him. Dude is weird. I mean, and that lends to Sabir's weird, right? So, from what I've seen, Sabir is a similar kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, a KRS-One kind of weird. Like, doesn't shut the fuck up. Always running his mouth. Always acting like when he pops his lip that shit is gunshots. Bah, 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 bah. Like my mouth is a cannon or something. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's very weird. Because on one hand, the dude says he's a radio personality. On the next hand, he wish he was a rapper. Like, he really does wish he was a rapper. He be in the motherfucking videos talking about, while KRS-One is playing. Like, dude really wishes he had lyrics. He should sit down and write some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, me and my peoples, that's what we do. We comes off the dome. You know what I mean? He always saying that shit. Like, this is 100% off the dome. I don't write nothing down. Like it's all freestyle off the dome, pretty much, right? But I ain't heard this motherfucker spitting that one rhyme, right? It's like everything's KRS-One. He's channeling some shit he heard through the grapevine, and that don't get you no props. Where I come from, you know what I'm saying? Especially on the hip hop tip. So anyway, I really been thinking about putting together this show called Slapping Sabir. Right, Slapping Sabir, just mainly because I've seen already that there are other people slapping the shit out of dude, and of course he kind of he's very dodgy about it, right? So as long as he's in control of the mute button, he can mute you. And when you get some momentum going, he could push a fucking button on your ass and then take over the discussion and then allow his one or two little butt buddies to jump in and co-sign his shit, right? He feels like he's doing something. But if you pay attention to his videos, when it's just him up there by himself, nobody, corresponding with him, nobody co-signing his bullshit, he's actually a frail little weak ass dude. You know what I'm saying? He be low key on here like begging, like, come on, Carlos, come to my YouTube right now, Carlos, right? This cat be like, Romeo, where you at, Rome? Where you at, Romeo? Come over here and co-host with me. Come over here and co-sign my bullshit, right? There's another one, Ephraim, right? Ephraim, that's the sad show right there, right? Like, I've watched this dude, Sabir, disrespect Ephraim over and over again on this show, right? He basically says that Ephraim sucks, winners, right? We're gonna watch the language. That Ephraim is a weenie-holic, right? And he ain't sharing no drinks with Ephraim, you know what I'm saying? And he don't care who's gay and who's not. Just, I'm not drinking after you, right? So he basically saying, oh, I don't care what your sexual preference is or what your sexual proclivities are. And then he disses the man, like before he goes out, he throws a fucking jab in there, like a stab, like, y'all are gay and we ain't, we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? We don't feel that. Gay is, it's counterproductive to nature type shit. He one of them for sure. Now, you seen him just now pointing at his shirt talking about my Philly attitude, right? It ain't no Philly attitude. I mean, once you get to a certain age and you from certain places, attitudes will get you killed. For real. Popping your mouth off, disrespecting, talking shit, getting slick, giggling and shit like stuff is funny, right? Getting into serious heated arguments, calling them debates, right? Calling people out, talking shit, telling people what they should and should not be doing, telling people what you believe if their flaws are in front of a bunch of other people, right? Cheerleaders, co-signers, whatever you want to call them. That's dangerous. Right? People get hurt doing that sort of shit. I've seen it too many times. Like, he'll tell you he's been to jail. And it makes me wonder, like, Philly, what's happening, man? Like I get it, Philly. You know what I'm saying? Y'all done bust on this dude twice. Somebody don't like him, right? They done tried to hit the man 2 different times and unloaded on him, right? They unfortunately, his son got caught in some crossfire. I don't know, what that was about or nothing, but I know that bullets tend to fly at these fools, right? And so that could be Philly saying, get the fuck out of here, you know what I'm saying? You ain't respected on that tip, on this gangster tip, will kill you, right? Now, it's one thing when you're on some philosophy shit. It's a whole nother thing when you're like, yeah, me and my guys are Black Philly Mafia, right? We're Philly Black Mob, and I was a Nation of Islam, and I'm a God of the Earth, right? And all this other shit what this guy be claiming, right? It's ridiculous after a certain point. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's even worse to me because I grew up around killers, right? And I mean like Bloods and Crips. So he says, oh yeah, I'm home now, guys. I'm at home now. I'm in Cali, right? Cali's now his home, right? But he's from Philly, right? And let me tell you, real cash from Philly, right? Like Corrupt. Corrupt is a Crip. Crippins from Philly, right? You got Freeway, right? Not the Rick Ross, you know what I'm saying, but Philadelphia Freeway with the big beard, right? You got, who else from Philly? Beanie Siegel, right? I remember some people was talking some shit about Beans because he got punched out, you know what I'm saying, in front of a lot of people, right? I mean, This dude is weird. I don't understand what it is he's trying to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? Like my OGs, they told me young, right, early, to never let your mouth write checks that your ass can't cash. Right? Don't let your mouth get the go. Look how animated dude is. And I don't mean animated like he's doing it big. I mean animated like a cartoon character. Right? Like a clown. You know, we're gonna hold up some books. Everybody got books. I mean, come on now. I think it's been legal for colored folk to read books for, let's say, at least 100 years, maybe 2. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, he holds up books. He knows he marked a couple lines in a couple books. That does not mean he read the whole book. And he'll even tell you he hasn't read most of his books. Right? He memorized. I remember watching him trying to memorize certain lines, right? Like the sovereign people. It's not sovereign citizen, it's sovereign people, or whatever the fuck. And then I watched him going over and over again until he memorized those couple of lines, which should be easy, right? He's an actor, right? That's what his mouth says. He acts, he produces, right? So it shouldn't be difficult for him to memorize a couple of punk ass lines. And he repeats those lines every single video. I mean, like, he's gonna say, oh, it's for the new people, there's new people coming on here, go watch my old videos. Why would anyone watch your old videos when your old videos are exactly the same as what you consider to be your new videos? You gonna say the exact same shit. Like, even my female, she knows what the fuck you gonna say. Any person who watches this, they know what you gonna say, right? You know, my bulldog down there knows what you're gonna say, right? It just is what it is. I mean, it's actually, it starts to push the line of hilariousness after a certain point. And it's sad, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure that a lot of these cats from Philly don't want the bad rap that goes along with Sabir Bey. Right? Like, when I think of people like, what's his name? You know, the old man, Taj Tariq. Right? Taj Tariq Bey, you can listen to him speak, and you can tell, yeah, he's out there. He's on it. Right? He's on one. But he's intelligent. Right? The man knows some things. Right? But he's also, like, very far, I don't know if I want to say conspiracy theorist, or whether I want to say just revolutionary minded, right? Taj Tariq is a different kind of person. And he cool. The old man got swang about him, for real. You know, I watched some certain videos with him, and you could tell that even though he says a lot of shit that some people might not understand, he actually is a cool dude. Like, he's got a good heart. Like, if he cares about you, he'll mentor you. He'll take you under his wing. I don't know if Taj Tariq has sons of his own or children of his own, but he seems like one of them old dudes that, you know, will take in people that he feels to be the youth, right? People that are misguided, and help them to learn and understand what it is that he knows, right? And I kind of feel like, so what he did was, he stood next to this clown, Sabir. And Sabir, being a disrespectful, fucking ignorant clown, right? He went far left field trying to step on his own mentor, right? He started trying to act like he was the next generation of Taj Tariq Bey before Taj Tariq Bey left the motherfucking limelight. You can't do that. You see what I'm saying? That was a problem for the Nation of Islam, right? I really do believe that the problem that Malcolm X was having was he was outshining his teacher, right? And the thing is, even if you are starting to outshine your teacher because he's starting to decline, because he's 70 years old, right? You don't flaunt that shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't start to step on your teacher. Right? And I've heard Sabir very clearly say that if you got a problem with Taj, if you got a problem with Taj Tariq Bey and what he says, take that shit to Taj. right? Don't tell him about it, right? But then next thing you know, he'll jump on the telephone calling Taj Tariq Bey, right? Trying to get Taj Tariq Bey to further fucking validate his shenanigans, right? Sabir's shenanigans, right? I got books all around here. I got so much equipment around here, and I'm gonna start using it. And we're gonna see, right? So you play the book game. You ain't wrote none of them books though, Sabir, right? None of them. You're just reading verbatim some shit someone else studied or someone else learned. Like even on your journeys, right? You said you've traveled the world, right? But you've written nothing down. Like how the fuck you been on so many journeys and haven't written anything down, right? That speaks towards your education, right? And then you got these videos that you're sitting on. This motherfucker says, Sim, I hate it. He's like, I got so many Sims cards. I got Sims cards. What the fuck is Sims cards, fool? Like, I don't know what Sims cards are. You know what I'm saying? I know what Sim cards are. But I don't know what are fucking Sims cards, man. You be just slaughtering the language and shit. You be slaughtering English. And that shit is funny. See, even thinking about how you speak so terribly makes me start to fall into that urban vernacular myself. And there's no need to do that. Like I can speak American linguistic vernacular English. There's no reason for me to fall into saying dumb shit. You know what I mean? And so I was watching another video and the dude was trying to pronounce a Spanish name and he couldn't. And there's just all types of things where in school, in a school setting, and this is why he says, I don't gotta go to school. I don't gotta go to college. I don't gotta get no degrees, right? Because in an educational setting, he's way down here, right? He's gonna have to start with basic English, basic arithmetic, basic, like when you go to college, right? I've been to college, right? Community college. He gonna talk that shit. Oh, barking like a dog, right? If you're a Gamma Sigma Phi and all this other shit, right? He's running his mouth. He doesn't seem to understand the way spirituality and calling on egregores works, right? He don't understand that shit. And if he does, he's stupid. You know what I mean? But anyway, so we're barking like dogs, right? And all this other shit, and going to college and getting higher degrees, but none of that stuff matters because he don't got none of that stuff. And he's not going to get none of that stuff because he's going to have to take classes that are fucking remedial just to get into the higher levels of these classes. Like, if he goes to community college right now, he's going to have to take beginners remedial fucking English, right? Beginners remedial arithmetic, beginners remedial probably history, right? Your basic classes that are not fun, and you should have learned this stuff in middle school and high school. I mean, he'll fail. They won't allow for him to not be able to spell. Right? They won't allow for him not to be able to count. Right? You can't be an ignorant savant. Right? You're not a savant. You're not. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of nitpicking. There's a lot of feelings people have about who Sabir is as a person. I mean, his character itself does not lend towards an educational vibe or an educational setting. It's very street. And not even street. It's like wannabe street, which is terrible. Like, it's not like we're dealing with a real street cat here when we're talking about Sabir. Like, he's like, oh, I used to be out there with guns. I had 2 guns. I was walking around with my guns, right? He must not understand that right now we're dealing with a generation of young folks that'll blow your motherfucking nose off for nothing. You look at them funny. You know what I'm saying? They just, you know what I mean? They, for any like the Grim Reaper ain't discriminating these days, right? So as such, you know, I really don't care about his relationship or relationships, right? None of that shit matters to me. One thing that I did find to be fucking despicable was him neglecting his daughter on Facebook and on YouTube. So I'm going to show you guys how to multitask right now. This is multitasking. I'm going to show you guys what multitasking looks like. Because he can't sit his dumb ass down. Right? He can't be quiet. He has to every day try to make for people to think that he's this all-knowing, fucking hyper-intelligent person. Now you can tell that he paid attention to certain things that he felt would suit him to learn. Right? He'll definitely bust out some code books, and which means nothing. Right? You can get those in the library. You know, he might know apartment, law, tenant law, or some shit like that. More books you could get at the library. I think he feels like he discovered the library, and that no people of color or nobody brown has ever been into the fucking library. He's the typical high yellow weirdo, like pale-faced black dude. You know what I mean? Like, he wants you to know he's black because he carries the dreads on his head. So he wants to carry that sort of energy around. But at the same time, he's like, it's offensive. Like, not only is it offensive on a racial and an ethnic sort of vibe, but it's also offensive as a man. It's offensive as an American. It's offensive as... Like, I can't front. I'm one of them people where we was in the same place at the same time for too long, and he behaved the way he behaves, and he came at me with that shit, I'll bomb on him. And I don't give a fuck if he thinks he got golden gloves. I don't care if he thinks he can box. I don't care about none of that shit. I got a little brother, we don't get along too well, one of them. And he takes pictures in the MMA gym, and he tells people that he can box. And, that is what that is. Like, your mouth can only carry you so far, homie. You can talk like you got the golden gloves and the fist of fury all you want to. But everybody who knows about you says you're this frail little, small, fucking weirdo. Egotistical weirdo with a Napoleon complex. And that's kind of what I see. Like, every time I watch one of your videos, that's what I see. I can't even hear any knowledge or wisdom being brought forward because you're too busy stroking your motherfucking wiener on YouTube. Pardon my language, pardon the vulgarity. We'll see what happens. Right? I'm not a YouTube fanatic or a streaming fanatic, so I'm not really sure what the algorithm is going to decide is or is not appropriate as far as my language is concerned. But I will say that people like Sabir are extremely weird, and they vibe period just don't sit right. Them is the kind of dudes who get beat up in jail. Like, those are the kind of guys that you just be standing there watching them get their food took from them and shit like that. Because they think they're hard and they're soft as cotton. It's a trip. Another thing that really offended me, right? So I was watching some videos with this guy, and he was at Lamert Park, and he's running around Lamert Park on Facebook Live or whatever he uses on YouTube, and he's telling people, like, I'm in the park right now, I'm at the park, come to the park, if you got a problem, I'm at the park, you know what I'm saying? Now, if somebody comes up to Lamert Park and shoot your dumb ass because you run your mouth too much, how is that going to look to the community? How's that going to look for the community? You trying to hide behind them folks like they're going to jump in front of the bullet for you because you're Martin Luther Negro, right? But that's not going to happen. And all you're going to do is bring that ugly energy that is you to Lamert Park, right? Which was a killing field at one point. I mean, come on, man. You're weird. You know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing you in Compton running up on educating no gangsters. You know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing you, and I ain't even seen you on Hollywood Boulevard educating no gangsters. And there's gangsters over there. While you talking about how dirty Hollywood is, but you want to be part of Hollywood, blase, blase, right? How do I know these things? Well, I've been over there too, right? I'm from California, and I'm just telling you, man, like, you know, there's a reason you got ran out of Philly, and then talking that shit like, oh, what one of these clowns said on here earlier. The FBAs, right? I don't know what that is, right? But I guess that's Foundational Black Americans. I don't know what their organization is about or how deep they are or anything like that. But somebody was in the background talking about RICO charges. That shit is hilarious. Like, so now Sabir can run his mouth all he wants to, and once we start to get just a little bit nervous, we talking about the law. We talking about the feds. Like, the state don't press RICO charges. That's federal charges. Right? Since this guy, you know, Sabir is such a fucking legalese, jurisprudence expert, right? Well, why the fuck are your flunkies and your clowns talking about RICO cases, right? You know what I'm saying? And then here's the kicker, right? So anyone who doesn't know that you're being surveilled by the feds, they're in denial. And I'm not talking about Egypt. I'm not talking about the Nile, right? They're in denial. If I could pull up something right now, and it's fucked up, it's sad, right? Because I like Taj, he's got a good spirit, right? But if I could pull up articles right now by the Southern Poverty Law Center, on the Southern Poverty Law Center website, and it says that Taj Tariq Bey is a radical fucking extremist. What then does that make you? Right? Some people, they don't know no better. And so they just go along with the get along, right? Because you got some serious gangsters and some serious people, right? Including and not limited to cats like Jeff Fort, right? And the Stones, the real Stones, the P Stones, right? And they've been doing this a whole lot longer than Sabir. They got a whole lot more clout, right? Like, I'm not seeing Sabir carrying no weight in no federal penitentiaries. He's talking about the feds don't let you get comfortable. The feds don't let you move around. Or no, the feds don't let you get comfortable. They move you around and all this other kind of shit, right? Have you been to the feds? You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people who've been to the feds, because I got a lot of people in that federal system. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. I mean, you know, when you're selling 50 packs and you got bundles of heroin and you're getting cracked, you know what I'm saying, with straps and all this shit, you might end up over there, right? But what is the reason for you to end up in the federal crosshairs, Jack? It could be because people trying to snuff your ass, right? And so at first what I was hearing was that Sabir was in a bunch of witness protection program type shit. Like, that's why he moves around, right? Ain't that what he said? Right? He said the feds don't let you get comfortable, right? They move you around, right? And so I had some people, that was what they were saying. Like, Sabir Bey is fucking federal bait. That fool's a federal weenie. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's moving around the way he is, right? Then I had someone bring something to me that was a little more logical. And that was that dude is actually homeless and is using various states, using the system, the welfare system in various states to keep from drowning, right? So he goes over here for a while and uses some hotel vouchers. Then he goes over here for a while, uses some hotel vouchers, right? He's a Moor, so he knows how to use paperwork and how to file for different things in order to receive benefits, right, from the same government that he believes is his enemy. I mean, he's a confusing character. We're still debating certain things where I'm at with certain people. We still having certain discussions about that dude. But the bottom line is, he don't got no security force. He don't got no bunch of people with the blickies ready to get busy. You know what I'm saying? He don't got no bunch of people ready to risk their lives catching no murder cases, defending no Sabir Bay, right? If there was a shootout, if somebody did try to shoot Sabir, right, the law already knows he runs his fucking mouth. They're going to know what the reason was. They're going to know that it either has something to do with the fact that they ain't got him yet in Philly, or that he's made enemies elsewhere and those people are not playing with him. And I guess you can start to feel bulletproof after you get hit a certain amount of times and you don't fall out and you're not gone, right? But that still doesn't mean that it's wise or smart to make your community look stupid by playing 90-90 boo-boo games. Like, I'm in Leimert Park right now. I'm in Chicago right now. I'm in the underground bookstore right now in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Where is Chicago? He always throwing his people under the bus. He throwing Yoel under the bus. Yoel says, well, I don't agree with that. He says, wait a minute. Right? The next person comes on there. What's her name? Karen. Oh, I don't agree with that. Wait a minute. You're not listening to me. Just listen. You know what I'm saying? Dude is weird. Straight up. Like, I feel like his baby moms don't like him and shit. And that's sad. Because once your baby mamas don't like you, you're kind of stuck in that regard. It's hard to get them back on the team when they know what your motherfucking socks and your dirty underwear look like. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, he came on here for one, a few episodes talking about his baby mom is accusing him of sexually abusing his daughter. The same daughter he's on this internet with talking about, let me show you how to multitask. The same daughter he was neglecting this baby on the internet for everyone to see. The baby screaming in the background. I mean, typical fucking, neglectful situation. You know what I mean? A little baby crying about milk, crying about juice, wanting attention from her daddy. This fool's always moving around. He ain't never spending no one-on-one time with her. Then when he takes her to the park, he takes pictures and posts them on the internet. Like, look at me being a father. Cuz is weird. Dude is weird. You know what I'm saying? He gonna sit up there on some KRS-One, like KRS-One shit. I mean, you know how many motherfuckers don't like KRS-One? I mean, for real. A lot of people don't like it. They hate him. For real. You know? But he's a different story, right? You're not KRS-One. You don't got not one rap. You know what I'm saying? You don't got not one album. You know what I'm saying? You're not signed not one record deal. So that's another thing that kind of irks me, is the part where he tries to act like he should be celebrated the same as a celebrity because he took a couple photos with celebrities, or because those celebrities gave him their telephone number. Like, that's something you don't flaunt. I wouldn't flaunt that, right? So if Eddie Griffin was my partner and I chopped it up with him on the regular, right? We was having good discussions and shit, right? This celebrated fucking actor and comedian, legendary comedian, is my friend. I'm not gonna fucking talk about that shit on YouTube to nobody. That's nobody's business. You know what I'm saying? That I don't need that. You know, there's no need for me to clout chase. There's no need for me to be like, I talk to Eddie all the time. He's my friend. A Big Red from Five Heartbeats. Well, that's a little different story because I guess they did some work together, right? So I'll allow that one. But the rest of that shit is weirdo fanboy look at me. I know a couple people and I'm their biggest fan, so they let me call them or whatever. I mean, I don't really care how that shit works. You know what I'm saying? If everybody that I know that knows a celebrity jumped on YouTube, there will be fucking hundreds of thousands of videos on YouTube of people standing next to other people. You know what I'm saying? But at this point in life, if you don't know at least one person who kind of sort of doing all right, maybe that ain't your lane. I mean, but you know, there are plenty of people who know people, and that doesn't make you anything other than who and what you are. Like, so, because Eddie Griffin is funny doesn't mean that you're funny, fool. Because Eddie Griffin got talent doesn't mean you have talent. Because, you know, KRS-One got records does not mean that, like, he's like, I got given the name The Fifth Element of Hip Hop. Have you ever seen The Fifth Element? Wasn't that a movie where, like, the black boy was transgender? That don't matter to me, right? Because I don't got nothing against transgenders. But I'm just saying, like, ain't The Fifth Element like some outer space shit? Or are we talking about like the 5 elements of actual hip hop, which would then make you the 6th element? Or is there now only 4 elements of hip hop? Oh yeah, you know Bambooty, right? And I gotta say it because somebody told me it was like Bambooty, and that's fucked up because I liked Africa Bambaataa. Who the fuck don't rock with Africa Bambaataa? Dude is a legend in the music, right? In the goddamn electro funk, the electro rap. He was the man, right? And I'm from the West Side, homie. So electro hip hop and all that shit was knocking over here on the West Side, right? But then the rumors start coming out that Africa Bambaataa molests boys, and that's a problem, right? He molesting kids and shit at the time they were kids, right? Then you're gonna run your mouth, oh, Hassan Campbell. Man, Hassan Campbell will beat your ass, fool. Like, common sense tells me that if you and Hassan was to go one-on-one in a fist fight, you would get your fucking dreads snatched off. You would get your ass beat. And so where I'm from, like really what you're doing is called window warrior. You're a window warrior, right? So when I was a youth in juvenile hall, they used to call people who talk shit through the little window in the door and beat on the wall, beat on the door. Oh, fuck you, fool, I'll whoop your ass. Right? Those are called window warriors. And that's what you are. You're using Windows, you're using YouTube, you're using the internet to sell fucking wolf tickets and to trade war stories, and you are a window warrior. Now, here's my advice for Sabir, right? Because today we're slapping Sabir, right? Here's my advice to you. I would say that you should calm the fuck down, homie. For real. I would say that you should chill. Because maybe you do got some shit to say. Maybe you do have a few reasonable things to offer. But I'm going to tell you right now, ain't nobody going to listen to you. Because you too stuck on your own fucking ego. Right? And then you got these clowns who they just want to be down. They just want to be on the show. They want to show other people like, oh, and Sabir. And here's the fucking kicker, right? He thinks he's smart. So, listen, I was on Sabir Bey's show, and Sabir Bey knows Eddie Griffin. I was on Sabir Bey's show, and Sabir Bey knows KRS-One. I was on Sabir Bey's show, and Sabir Bey knows Big Red from the 5 Heartbeats. Right? He knows Vanessa Calloway or whoever, you know? Get the fuck out of here. You're on that weird shit, man. That shit is weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's a California thing too, because in Cali, when you in a gang, motherfuckers will ask you, like, who do you know? Are you from here? You from such and such a hood? Well, who do you know? And you better start naming the right names, because if you don't, you're not from that hood, right? Well, that's kind of the game he's trying to play. He's like, oh, I know this person and that person, and I worked on the radio. See, okay, now if you had a radio show and you interviewed a couple people, then maybe you got a couple contacts, Jack. The fuck else does that mean? Nothing. You met those people. Those people were using a platform the same as you are to publicize what the fuck they're doing, right? To have an interview, and you interviewed them because at the time you were interning or working for or whatever it is, a radio station. Anyway, fuck all that bullshit. It's not magic. It's common fucking sense. There's not anything spectacular. It's not rocket science. It's common sense. He met certain people because he was interviewing people for little radio programs, which all got canceled. And so now he's saying he's been in media for 20-some years, right? And he's been doing it longer than other people who are much more successful than he, obviously, right? So even if you did have a radio show, but your fucking career went nowhere, that's like a person who raps, right? And they get a shot and they go nowhere, right? I mean, even the one-hit wonder gets paid though, right? For their effort. Because that one fucking song they had, that shit did alright. Right? But how about you? You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, well, I'm a Deus Christ, and I'm a producer in Out of Darkness, and I'm a producer in this, and I'm a producer in that, and motherfucker, you just a weirdo trying to get as many production credits as you could get. And as a real musician, like a musician that knows musicians, but ain't about to be name dropping musicians, I'm gonna tell you right now, that shit ain't nothing. I mean, it is something when you're dealing with your pocketbook, right? Hopefully, if you collect the royalties, right? But other than that, I mean, production credits, I can give my daughter my production credits. You know what I mean? I can give my daughter my publishing credits. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just credit. You could just be in the room and get a production credit. You can add one word to the song and get a production credit, fool. You can add the motherfucking hi-hats to the drum pattern and get a production credit. You ain't made nothing in the beat but just a little hi-hat. Production credit. Shit is not difficult. So, you know, I really do feel that very soon some people about to pop Sabir Bey's tires. I don't think he really realizes how much negativity he spewed out of his mouth, right? And how much he's rubbed certain people the wrong way. How he's made Philadelphia look weak and soft. How he's made himself look weak and soft. How he's tried to make California seem weak and soft. I don't think he understands, but, you know, something tells me that very soon Sabir is gonna face some serious issues. You know what I'm saying? And he feels what? He feels like, well, that's nothing because I faced it down before and I didn't die. Okay, that's great. Some people saved your life a couple times. That's nice. You know what I mean? That's the beauty of civilization, ain't it? Right? But in reality, the bottom line goes this. I really do. I'm really very sure that very soon Sabir is going to be a memory, right? And then his children have his 2,000 videos that he made to realize and to figure out how the fuck it happened. Anyway, this is Ray Azul Sovereign, you know what I'm saying? And you're not watching the Warhouse right now, right? This is just a little commentary thing I got right now called Slapping Sabir. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm going to be bringing more material soon. My own show where we talk about things other than Saput Butt, right? Saduk Shoot. You know what I'm saying? Where we talk about things other than that. Actually, we won't be talking about that character at all. And those shows will be coming very soon. Also, I'm posting audiobooks. So you can check out the website. That's www.Cre8iveMindSet.com. That's Cre8iveMindset. So it's C-R-E and the letter 8, right? 8 is the H in the alphabet, right? The 8th letter in the alphabet is H, right? So we got the Cre8iveMindSet. You know what I'm saying? We going hard in the paint. Anyway, you see this guy over here. He's funny. He's gonna, that's one thing. He is funny, right? Because it's hard not to watch. This motherfucker make his people, and other people that he's claiming that want nothing to do with him, how he makes them look so fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, for being involved with him. Like, it's weird. I mean, it's extremely strange. It's not anything that I want to be any part of. That's for damn sure. You know what I mean? But you've been listening to the Washita Warlord, coming to you live from Indian country. This guy. I'm gonna tell you when to leave. I'm gonna tell you when you're gonna go bye-bye. Here you're gonna go. Let's see.